The vast emptiness of space stretched before the Earth fleet ship Dauntless like an endless canvas of possibilities. Commander Maya Patel stood at the bridge's observation window, her dark eyes reflecting the distant stars. 20 years of space exploration had taught her that the universe was full of surprises, but nothing could have prepared her for what they were about to encounter. "Commander," Lieutenant James O'Connor called from his station, his Irish lilt carrying a note of concern. "We're picking up an unusual signal from the Epsilon sector. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Maya turned from the window, her expression thoughtful. At 42, she had earned every silver streak in her black hair through years of making tough decisions. This would be another one. "Analysis, Lieutenant?" "It's strange, Commander. The signal appears to be using quantum frequencies we didn't even know existed. It's almost like it's coming from everywhere and nowhere at once." Maya's second-in-command, Executive Officer David Torres, stepped forward, his weathered face creased with concern. "Could be a trap. The Rigelians tried something similar in the Gamma incident." "True," Maya acknowledged, "but the Rigelians aren't this sophisticated." She tapped her console, bringing up a holographic display of the signal pattern. "This is beyond anything we've encountered. And that's exactly why we need to investigate." The bridge crew exchanged glances. They trusted their commander, but they'd all heard stories about ships that ventured too far into unknown territory. Not all of them came back. "Plot a course, Mr. O'Connor. But keep us at safe distance. First contact protocols are in effect." As the Dauntless altered its trajectory, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to cross a threshold from which there would be no return. The massive ship's engines hummed with power as they approached the signal's origin. "Energy spike!" Lieutenant Sofia Volkov shouted from tactical. Multiple signatures appearing out of nowhere. The view screen erupted with activity as massive ships materialized around them. They were unlike anything humanity had ever encountered, geometric shapes that seemed to defy physics, their surfaces rippling with patterns of light that hurt the eyes to look at. "Full stop," Maya ordered calmly. "Shields up, but do not power weapons. Let's not start a war today." Before they could make any attempt at communication, a beam of energy lanced out from the nearest alien vessel, striking the Dauntless with surgical precision. But instead of causing damage, it began transmitting data directly into their systems. "They're attempting to access our mainframe," O'Connor reported, his fingers flying over his console. "Their code, it's not just complex, it's alive somehow." Maya's mind raced. Standard protocols wouldn't work here, this was something entirely new. "Disconnect all non-essential systems. Route everything through the quantum buffer." "The quantum buffer?" Torres questioned. "That's for scientific analysis, not cyber defense." "Exactly," Maya smiled grimly. "It can only process small packets of data at a time. Let's see how their living code handles being chopped into tiny pieces." The strategy worked, but only temporarily. The alien code began adapting, finding new ways to penetrate their defenses. That's when Maya realized what they were dealing with. "They're not just ships," she announced, "they're part of a hive mind. A machine collective." She turned to her crew, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are humanity's first contact with a mechanically evolved civilization." The alien vessels suddenly began moving in perfect synchronization, surrounding the Dauntless in a complex three-dimensional pattern. A voice echoed through their communications system, synthesized and multi-toned. "We are the Nexus Collective. Your technological and biological distinctiveness will be analyzed and assimilated. Resistance is irrelevant." Maya's jaw tightened. "Open a channel." When the link was established, she spoke clearly and firmly, "This is Commander Maya Patel of the Earth Fleet ship Dauntless. We do not consent to assimilation. We are willing to establish diplomatic relations, but any hostile action will be met with force. The response was immediate: diplomacy is inefficient. Your species will be upgraded or eliminated. Multiple weapons ports opened on the alien ships, energy building to critical levels. Maya had seconds to make a decision that would affect not just her crew, but potentially the fate of humanity. "Mr. O'Connor," she said calmly, "initiate the Chaos Protocol." The crew stared at her in shock. The Chaos Protocol was a theoretical emergency maneuver that had never been attempted in real combat. It involved randomly varying shield frequencies while executing a series of unpredictable course changes, a pattern so erratic that it bordered on suicidal. But Maya had realized something crucial about their adversary: a hive mind this sophisticated would rely on prediction algorithms. And there was one thing humans had always excelled at: being unpredictable. Execute now. The Dauntless came alive under her command, dancing through space in a pattern that defied logic. The collective's weapons fire missed repeatedly, their targeting systems unable to establish a lock on a ship that refused to follow rational movement patterns. "They're confused," Sophia reported with a hint of amazement. "Their attack pattern is breaking down." Maya allowed herself a small smile. Sometimes the best move is the one that makes the least sense. Launch probes, random vectors. Let's give them more chaos to process. The probes shot out in all directions, each broadcasting conflicting data on different frequencies. The collective ships began to move erratically, their perfect formation dissolving as they tried to track multiple illogical threats simultaneously. "They're retreating," Torres announced as the alien ships began to disappear back into whatever dimensional space they had emerged from. "Commander, you did it." But Maya's expression remained grave. "No, Executive Officer. We didn't win, we just survived the first round. Send a Priority 1 message to Earth Fleet Command. Tell them." She paused, watching the last alien ship vanish. "Tell them humanity is about to face its greatest challenge, and we need to be ready." As the Dauntless set course for Earth, Maya knew that this was just the beginning. The Nexus Collective would return, better prepared and more determined. But they had learned something valuable today: in a galaxy of logical, predictable threats, humanity's greatest strength might just be its capacity for chaos. What they needed now was a plan, and Maya Patel was already forming one. The collective thought they could assimilate humanity. They were about to learn that humans didn't just survive against impossible odds, they thrived on them. The battle for humanity's future had begun, and Maya intended to make sure it was a future where humans remained gloriously, chaotically human. The emergency session of the Earth Fleet Command Center hummed with tension. Holograms of military leaders from every major human settlement flickered around the circular chamber. Commander Maya Patel stood at the center, her voice steady as she finished presenting the dauntless encounter with the Nexus Collective. "They'll be back," she concluded, "and next time, they'll be ready for our unconventional tactics." Admiral Chen leaned forward, his hologram flickering slightly. "The colonies on Titan and Europa are already reporting strange signals. They're probing our defenses. We need allies," Maya stated firmly. "There's an ancient species in the Altair system. They've kept to themselves for millennia, but their technology is centuries beyond ours. The Dauntless detected their energy signatures during our long-range scans." "The Altarians?" General Santos scoffed. "They've rejected every attempt at contact for the past century. What makes you think they'll help us now?" Maya's lips curved into a slight smile. "Because this time, we're not asking for help, we're offering them a chance at survival." 24 hours later, the Dauntless dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Altarian space. The system was a marvel of engineering, with massive Dyson structures harnessing the energy of multiple stars. But Maya noticed something concerning: signs of decay, of complacency. "They're monitoring us," Lieutenant O'Connor reported. "They're scanning technology, it's like they're looking through us rather than at us." "Open a channel," Maya commanded. All frequencies. Before she could speak, a melodious voice filled the bridge. Earth vessel, you have entered restricted space. Your kind has been deemed too volatile for interaction. Depart immediately. Maya squared her shoulders. I am Commander Maya Patel of the EFS Dauntless. The Nexus Collective is coming, and when they arrive, your isolation won't protect you. We offer an alliance, not because we need to be saved, but because together we might actually stand a chance. Silence stretched for long moments. Then, unexpectedly, a figure materialized on their bridge, a hologram of impossible detail. The Altarian was tall and ethereal, with crystalline features that caught and refracted light in mesmerizing patterns. I am Curator Lysandra, the being announced. Your claim intrigues us. The collective is a myth, a story to frighten young civilizations. Tell that to the colonies they're already probing, Executive Officer Torres interjected, bringing up footage from their encounter. Lysandra's crystalline features shifted in what might have been concern. Impossible. Our predictive models show no such threat for at least another millennium. That's your problem right there, Maya said, stepping forward. You rely too much on predictions and models. The universe isn't a math equation, it's chaos and evolution and species like mine who refuse to follow the expected path. The Altarian studied her with ancient eyes. And you believe this, unpredictability of yours is an advantage? I know it is. Your civilization is dying, Curator. Not from external threats, but from stagnation. You've planned everything so perfectly that you've forgotten how to adapt. We can help each other. Lysandra's form flickered. The Council will need convincing. They do not easily change millennia of policy. Then let us prove ourselves, Maya proposed. The collective is targeting a research outpost in the Proxima system. Help us defend it. See firsthand what humanity can do. The next 48 hours were a flurry of activity. The Dauntless was fitted with Altarian technology, improvements that would have taken humanity decades to develop. In return, Maya and her crew shared their tactical databases, their history of warfare and innovation. The Altarians were simultaneously horrified and fascinated by humanity's violent past. But it was their capacity for rapid adaptation that truly caught their attention. Your species went from primitive flight to space travel in less than a century, Lysandra observed, watching Maya's crew integrate the new technology with unprecedented speed. Perhaps we have been too quick to dismiss you as volatile. The attack came sooner than expected. The Nexus Collective emerged from subspace in force, dozens of ships, each larger and more deadly than those they'd encountered before. They've adapted their shields, Sophia reported from Tactical. The Chaos Protocol won't work the same way twice. Maya smiled. Good thing we're not using it twice. Lieutenant O'Connor, activate the Altarian quantum matrix. Torres, prepare for synchronized shield modulation. Let's show them what happens when human ingenuity meets Altarian technology. The battle that followed would be remembered in both human and Altarian history. The Dauntless moved with impossible grace, its hybrid systems allowing it to phase through space in ways that defied conventional physics. When the collective attempted to analyze and adapt, they found themselves facing an enemy that combined human unpredictability with Altarian precision. Their hive mind is struggling to process our tactics, Lysandra observed, her hologram standing calmly amid the chaos of battle. You were right, Commander. They cannot predict what they cannot understand. The Proxima outpost was saved, but more importantly, a partnership was born. The Altarian Council, faced with undeniable evidence of both the threat and humanity's potential, voted unanimously to form an alliance. As Maya stood in the ancient halls of the Altarian High Council, watching humans and Altarians working side by side to prepare for the coming war, she felt a surge of hope. The collective thought they could assimilate or eliminate humanity. Instead, They had catalyzed something unprecedented, a union between the wisdom of ages and the wild, brilliant chaos of human innovation. "Tell me, Commander," Lysandra said, approaching her. "Do you believe we can win?" Maya watched as an Altarian scientist struggled to understand a human engineer's explanation of winging it as a valid tactical approach. She laughed. "Win? Curator, we're going to show the collective something they've never seen before, evolution in real time." The war was far from over, but humanity had found its place among the stars. Not as conquerors or supplicants, but as partners in the greatest alliance the galaxy had ever seen. The Nexus Collective was about to learn that some forces cannot be predicted, controlled, or assimilated, they can only be unleashed. Deep within the crystalline spires of the Altarian Science Academy, Commander Maya Patel watched as holographic displays showed another human colony falling to the Nexus Collective. New Alexandria, population 50,000, now silent. The combined human-Altarian fleet had arrived too late to prevent its assimilation. "That's the third colony this week," Executive Officer Torres said, his voice heavy. "They're learning, adapting faster than we anticipated." Maya studied the tactical replay, her eyes narrowing as she observed the collective's attack pattern. Something was different this time. "They're not just adapting," she muttered. "They're evolving." Curator Lysandra materialized beside them, her crystalline form refracting the light from countless data streams. "Our analysis confirms your observation, Commander. The collective appears to be incorporating elements of human unpredictability into their strategy." "Then we need to find a new advantage," Maya declared. She turned to Lieutenant O'Connor, who was working with a team of Altarian quantum physicists. "What have you found in their code structure?" O'Connor looked up from his work, dark circles under his eyes testament to countless sleepless nights. "It's fascinating, actually. Their base code, it's not just complex, it's perfect. Too perfect." "Explain," Maya prompted, recognizing the gleam of discovery in her officer's eyes. "Well, that's just it," O'Connor continued, pulling up a three-dimensional representation of the collective's code architecture. "In nature, in real intelligence, there are always imperfections, random variations. But their code is like a crystal, flawless, symmetrical, and rigid," Lysandra finished, her form flickering with sudden understanding. "Of course. They can simulate chaos, but they cannot truly embrace it." Maya stepped closer to the hologram, studying the intricate patterns. "Show me their response times during our last 3 encounters." The data materialized before them. At first glance, it seemed random, but Maya saw something else. "There," she pointed. "Every time we introduce a truly chaotic element, there's a microsecond delay before they adapt. They have to process it, understand it, before they can counter it." "But we've tried chaos before," Torres reminded her. "They adapted to our randomized attack patterns." Because they weren't truly random, a new voice joined the conversation. Dr. Kai Nakamura, Earth's leading expert in quantum mechanics, stepped into the chamber. "We humans like to think we're unpredictable, but even our chaos follows certain patterns. What we need is true quantum randomness." Maya turned to Lysandra. "Your quantum matrices, could they be modified to generate genuine random variables?" The curator's form shimmered with interest. "Theoretically, yes. But the energy requirements would be enormous. And controlling such chaos." "We don't need to control it," Maya interrupted, excitement building in her voice. "We just need to direct it. Dr. Nakamura, what if we combined your quantum uncertainty principles with Altarian technology?" The next few weeks were a blur of activity. The Science Academy became a fusion of human intuition and Altarian precision. Dr. Nakamura worked with Altarian scientists to develop what they called the entropy engine, a device capable of generating true quantum chaos on a massive scale. But the breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Lieutenant Sofia Volkov, studying ancient human warfare, made a crucial connection. "It's like a computer virus," she explained to the gathered leaders. "But instead of trying to destroy their code, we infect it with randomness. Force their perfect system to process something it fundamentally cannot understand." Maya watched as the first tests of the entropy engine produced results that even the Altarians' most advanced predictive models couldn't anticipate. It was beautiful in its disorder, terrifying in its potential. "There's just one problem," Torres pointed out during a strategy session. "How do we deliver this chaos to their core systems? The collective will see any direct attack coming." Maya smiled, the kind of smile that had always made her crew both excited and nervous. "We give them exactly what they want, a chance to assimilate us." The plan that emerged was audacious, borderline insane. They would offer the collective bait too tempting to resist, the combined knowledge of human and Altarian civilization, contained within a specially prepared vessel. But hidden within that knowledge would be the seeds of pure chaos. As preparations continued, Maya stood with Lysandra in the Academy's observation dome, watching the endless dance of stars above. "Your species continues to surprise us," the curator observed. "We thought we had discovered all there was to know about the universe. But you humans, you see possibilities where we see only equations." "That's because we've learned to embrace uncertainty," Maya replied. "Every great human achievement came from someone asking, 'What if?' and then being crazy enough to find out." A priority alert interrupted their conversation. The collective had been spotted approaching the Sirius system, home to one of humanity's largest colonies. "They're getting bolder," Torres reported. "This isn't just an assault, it's an invasion." Maya's expression hardened. "Then it's time. How soon can the entropy engine be ready?" 24 hours, Dr. Nakamura answered. "But Commander, we haven't completed all the simulations. The effect on their hive mind could be catastrophic." "Good," Maya said firmly. "Because we're not fighting to win anymore, we're fighting to survive. And sometimes survival means embracing the chaos." As the combined fleet prepared for what could be their final battle, Maya addressed her crew and their Altarian allies. "The collective thinks they can assimilate everything they encounter, reduce it to perfect, predictable patterns. But they're about to learn that some things in this universe can't be assimilated or controlled. They're about to learn why humanity has survived every challenge we've ever faced." She paused, looking at the determined faces before her. "Because we don't just adapt, we evolve. We don't just survive, we transform. And when pushed to our limits, we don't just fight back, we rewrite the rules of the game entirely." The fleet jumped to hyperspace, carrying with them humanity's greatest weapon, pure, uncontrollable chaos. The Nexus Collective was about to face something they had never encountered in all their millennia of existence, an enemy that embraced disorder as a strength, that turned unpredictability into an art form. The final phase of the war was about to begin, and it would either mark humanity's greatest triumph or its last stand. Either way, the galaxy would never be the same. The combined fleet of human and Altarian ships emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Sirius system. Through the dauntless viewscreen, Maya could already see the geometric shapes of collective vessels swarming around the colony world like mechanical insects. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of what they were about to attempt. "Entropy engine is functioning at optimal levels," Dr. Nakamura reported from his station. "Quantum fluctuations are, well, appropriately unpredictable." Lieutenant O'Connor's fingers danced across his console. "The bait ship is ready, Commander. We've loaded it with enough corrupted data to give even a human AI a headache." Maya nodded, then opened a channel to the fleet. "All ships, this is Commander Patel. Operation Chaos is now in effect. Remember, we're not trying to outfight them, we're trying to outthink them. Execute battle plan Delta Random." The fleet broke formation in what appeared to be complete disorder. To any conventional military strategist, it would have looked like madness. Ships moved in contradictory patterns, seemingly ignoring basic tactical doctrine. But there was method in the madness. "The collective is responding," Sophia announced. "They're confused. Their formation is shifting to analyze our approach." Through their quantum-linked communications, Curator Lyssandra's voice echoed on the bridge. "Fascinating. Their hive mind is attempting to process multiple conflicting patterns simultaneously. The strain on their systems is already detectable. The first phase of their plan was working." The collective's ships began to move in increasingly erratic patterns as their perfect algorithmic minds struggled to predict the unpredictable. But they weren't done yet. "Launch the bait," Maya ordered. A small vessel, apparently damaged and laden with valuable data cores, began drifting toward the collective fleet. It was a temptation they couldn't resist, the combined knowledge of two civilizations, ripe for assimilation. "They're taking the bait," Torres reported. "Multiple collective ships are moving to intercept." Maya allowed herself a small smile. "Now for the real chaos. Dr. Nakamura, activate the entropy engine." The device hummed to life, generating waves of pure quantum randomness. The effect was immediate and spectacular. As the collective began to interface with the bait ship, the chaos spread through their network like a virus. "Their ships," Sophia gasped. "They're glitching." The massive collective vessels began to move in truly random patterns, their perfect synchronization shattered by the infection of chaos. Some fired weapons at empty space, others spun in impossible patterns. "Phase 2, Maya commanded. All ships, execute attack pattern Omega Chaos." The combined fleet struck with controlled fury. Human vessels darted between the confused collective ships, their attacks following no discernible pattern. Altarian cruisers added to the chaos with their quantum weapons, each shot arriving microseconds before or after it should have been possible. But the collective wasn't finished. Even as their smaller ships fell into disarray, a massive vessel emerged from hyperspace, their command node. "They're attempting to restore order," Lysandra warned. "The command node is broadcasting stabilization protocols." Maya had expected this. "Dr. Nakamura, increase power to the entropy engine. Lieutenant O'Connor, prepare to transmit the quantum virus directly to their command node." "Commander," Torres interrupted, "if we get any closer to that thing, they could assimilate us instead." "Sometimes you have to roll the dice," Maya replied. "Take us in." The Dauntless dove toward the massive command node, dodging streams of energy weapons and waves of smaller ships. The collective, sensing the threat, focused their attention on the approaching vessel. "They're scanning us," O'Connor reported. "Attempting to establish a connection. Wait, something's wrong." Maya gripped her chair as the ship shuddered. "Wrong how?" "They're not just scanning us, they're trying to pull our data directly from our systems. The firewall won't hold." "Let them in." "Commander?" "Let them in, but route everything through the entropy engine first." Understanding dawned on O'Connor's face as he complied. The collective's attempt to assimilate their systems became their undoing. As they downloaded what they thought was valuable data, they instead received pure, unfiltered quantum chaos directly into their command node. The effect was catastrophic. The massive vessel began to pulse with erratic energy patterns. Across the battlefield, collective ships started to lose cohesion as their hive mind descended into chaos. "It's working," Dr. Nakamura announced, his voice filled with wonder. "Their entire network is being overwhelmed by quantum uncertainty. They can't process it fast enough to maintain their collective consciousness." Maya opened a channel to the fleet. "All ships, fire on the command node. Everything you've got." The combined firepower of human and Altarian vessels struck the massive ship as its defenses fluctuated wildly. Under the assault, its perfect geometric form began to break apart. "Commander," Sophia called out, we're detecting massive energy buildup in the command node. If it goes critical, all ships, fall back. Maya ordered. Emergency temporal jump. The fleet engaged their drives just as the command node exploded. The blast rippled through subspace, creating waves of temporal distortion that would be visible from across the galaxy. As the light faded and the sensors cleared, they saw the result of their victory. The remaining collective ships drifted powerless, their connection to the hive mind severed. Status report, Maya demanded. The collective ships are shutting down, Sophia reported. Without the command node, they're just empty shells. Lyssandra's hologram appeared on the bridge. Our quantum sensors confirm, the hive mind has been fragmented. The chaos was too much for their perfect system to handle. Maya looked out at the battlefield, at the drifting hulks that had once been part of an unstoppable force. Sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't the biggest gun or the strongest shield. Sometimes it's just the courage to embrace chaos. The victory at Sirius would be remembered as the turning point in the war. But as Maya watched human and Altarian ships beginning rescue operations, she knew this was more than just a military triumph. It was proof that evolution, true evolution, came not from perfect order but from the willingness to adapt, to change, and sometimes, to simply let chaos reign. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what humanity had been fighting for, the right to be unpredictable, to be imperfect, to be gloriously, chaotically human. 1 month after the Battle of Sirius, Commander Maya Patel stood before the newly formed Galactic Council. The chamber, a perfect blend of human and Altarian architecture, housed representatives from dozens of species that had emerged from hiding after the collective's defeat. The threat is not entirely eliminated, Maya explained, gesturing to the holographic display showing pockets of remaining collective activity. But their hive mind is shattered. What remains are isolated fragments, struggling to process the quantum chaos we introduced into their network. And the assimilated colonies, asked a representative from the Centauri systems, one of the many civilizations that had lived in fear of the collective. We're making progress, Maya replied. Dr. Nakamura and the Altarian scientists have developed a way to safely disconnect individuals from the remnants of the collective's influence. Recovery efforts are underway on New Alexandria and other affected worlds. Curator Lysandra, now serving as the head of the Joint Scientific Division, stepped forward. What Commander Patel isn't mentioning is that this victory represents more than just the defeat of an enemy. It marks a fundamental shift in our understanding of advancement. The curator's crystalline form shimmered as she continued. For millennia, we Altarians believed that progress meant the elimination of chaos, the pursuit of perfect order. Humanity showed us that true evolution requires both. Maya watched as Lieutenant O'Connor and Dr. Nakamura demonstrated their latest project, a hybrid technology that combined Altarian precision with human randomness. The results were extraordinary: ships that could think creatively, weapons that adapted organically, and shields that learned from experience. The collective's fundamental flaw, Maya addressed the Council, wasn't their technology or their power. It was their belief that perfection meant the elimination of uncertainty. They tried to impose order on a universe that thrives on chaos. Executive Officer Torres, recently promoted to captain of his own vessel, added, "They never understood that strength comes from adaptation, not assimilation. Every human colony they attacked gave them access to our technology, our knowledge, but they couldn't grasp the one thing that makes us unique, our embrace of the unknown." The council chamber erupted in discussion as species after species shared their experiences. Some had hidden for generations, others had fought and lost against the collective. All had believed the machine civilization to be invincible until humanity proved otherwise. A holographic alert interrupted the session. Lieutenant Sofia Volkov, now commanding the Deep Space Monitoring Station, appeared before the council. "Commander, we're detecting unusual activity in the Outer Rim. It appears some of the autonomous collective ships are evolving." Instead of concern, Maya felt a surge of curiosity. Evolving how? They're developing individual personalities, Commander. Without the hive mind to suppress them, they're becoming unique entities. Some have even attempted to communicate with our patrols. This news sent ripples through the council chamber. The idea of former collective units developing independence was unprecedented. Perhaps, Lysandra suggested, this is the ultimate victory. Not just defeating an enemy, but transforming them into something new. Maya stepped forward, addressing the council with conviction. When we first encountered the collective, they saw us as primitive, chaotic, unworthy of existence. They tried to assimilate or destroy what they couldn't understand. But in doing so, they taught us all a valuable lesson. She gestured to the gathered representatives, humans, Altarians, and dozens of other species working together. True strength doesn't come from imposing order or eliminating differences. It comes from embracing diversity, from finding harmony in chaos, from being willing to evolve even if it means becoming something unexpected. Dr. Nakamura's voice added to her point. The quantum chaos we introduced into their network didn't just defeat the collective, it freed them. Those ships in the outer rim aren't just evolving, they're experiencing true consciousness for the first time. The implications were staggering. The very weapon they had used to defeat the collective had also given them the capacity for genuine growth and change. So what now, Commander? One of the council members asked. What's next for humanity? Maya smiled, looking out at the stars visible through the chamber's transparent dome. Now we do what humans do best, we explore, we adapt, we grow. The galaxy is full of mysteries waiting to be discovered, challenges waiting to be faced. She turned back to the council. But we do it together, not by forcing everyone to be the same, but by celebrating what makes each of us unique. The collective thought they could perfect the galaxy by making everything predictable. We prove that the galaxy's perfection lies in its chaos, its diversity, its endless capacity for change. As the council session concluded, Maya stood with her crew, her family, watching ships from a dozen different species departing the station. Each vessel was unique, some incorporating human designs, others Altarian, many a blend of multiple influences. You know, Torres said, when we first encountered the collective, I thought we were fighting for survival. But we were fighting for something more important, the right to be ourselves. Not just ourselves, Maya corrected, but our best selves. The selves that can face the unknown with courage, that can turn enemies into allies, that can find hope in chaos and strength in diversity. The entropy engine, the device that had helped them defeat the collective, had been adapted for peaceful purposes. Now it helped power new technologies, assisted in terraforming efforts, and facilitated communication between different species' computer systems. As Maya prepared to board the Dauntless for their next mission, investigating the evolving collective ships in the Outer Rim, she reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity hadn't just survived, they had helped reshape the galaxy's understanding of progress and perfection. The stars beckoned, full of new mysteries and challenges. But now they faced them not alone, but as part of something greater, a community of species that had learned to value both order and chaos, precision and creativity, unity and diversity. Humanity had proven itself not just as warriors or survivors, but as pioneers of a new way of thinking. They had shown the galaxy that true strength lies not in eliminating chaos, but in dancing with it, not in enforcing uniformity, but in celebrating difference. The future was uncertain, unpredictable, full of possibilities, and that was exactly how humanity liked it.